I think the significance is on the broad plane for YU to feel part of the um, of this era that we are in, where we're returning to Eretz Yisrael as a Jewish people, and that Eretz Yisrael kimitzion teitzei Torah udvar Hashem Yerushalayim. That Eretz Yisrael is a Torah center of the world, and anyone who wants to be able to nurture from that Torah center has to have a presence in Eretz Yisrael. But particularly for YU itself, when I became the Rosh Kollel, when the Kollel was established in 1976, so we're going back 45 years, this was probably the first act of Rabbi Lam, Zecher Tzaddik Livracha, as president of the university. And at that time, as people are well aware, YU was bankrupt. And the first act that he did was to create a program in Eretz Yisrael. And it was to create a program that is not going to be a moneymaker, but Rabbi Lam, Zecher Tzaddik Livracha, was a tremendous Ohev Tzion. His feelings for Eretz Yisrael permeated his whole persona. And for him, it was very, very symbolic that his first act was creating this extension of the Smicha program in Eretz Yisrael. My father, Zecher Tzaddik Livracha, was his senior vice president. He was also an Ohev Yisrael B'Leiv U'Benefesh. And so for the two of them, I think that this represented a certain culmination of hopes and wishes and dreams. And B'li Ayin Hara, in the last 45 years, we have educated as part of the Smicha program quite a large slice of the Musmachim, and I think that their investment has paid its way over and over and over again in terms of that which the Musmachim have given to their communities as Klei Kodesh, as Rabbanim, as Machanchim. That they are able to pass on their love of Eretz Yisrael, which is pretty, for many of them, what played a large factor in why they came to the Grus program, but also to take advantage of that year or two or even three in Grus, and they recharge their batteries, and they're able then to pass that on to their communities. Without mentioning names, pretty much the Shamna V'Silta, it's the elite of the elite, of my humble opinion, of the rabbinic leaders and mechanchim and principals, etc. in America, are our alumni. Not our alumni as opposed to YU alumni, but as part of their experience in YU, they had this year or two or three in Grus, and I think that it made a tremendous difference in terms of what they are able to share of themselves with their communities and with their students. As I was never a Rosh Kollel in the US, it's very hard for me to compare that which I have been to that which I was never. But I can say that the group that comes to Grus is a very self-selected group, as opposed to the other denominations of our religion who have rabbinic schools. They have a rule. It's part of the requirements of their program is that the students who are going to be conservative rabbis or reform rabbis have to spend at least a year in their rabbinic institutes in Israel. We don't have such a rule in RIETS. It's those who want to come. It's those who desire to come who end up coming. And that's a very, very special group. Namely, you're dealing with students, most of them who went through the system, who went through the system of elementary school and yeshiva high school, the day school system, and always had a double program. And then they came to Eretz Yisrael post-high school, and wow, in other words, their post-high school experience, their Shana Aleph, Shana Bet, that's pretty much why they decided to become Klei Kodesh, why they decided to get to be more involved in transmitting our tradition. And so the 4 years they spent in YU, or 3 years they spent post their previous Eretz Yisrael experience gave them the desire to repeat that experience, but at a different stage in life, at a different plane in life, in which they're already seeing to a certain degree their future, either in Eretz Yisrael or in America or anywhere in the world. And they're able to take advantage of the gift that YU offers them in the Kollel in Eretz Yisrael. And so to be a Rosh Kollel to a group of students who are coming because they want to come, because they know what they can gain, they know what they can get, and from the moment that they step into the Beis Medrash, they're already waiting for not passively but actively involved in their own growth. I guess it's for me it's a rejuvenating experience. I think that I stay younger, at least in spirit, because I'm constantly meeting very, very wonderful, idealistic young couples, or most of our students are married, or young men who, Yirtzeh Hashem, will be young couples, and to be able to spend the day with them and to help them, to guide them, to listen to them, to share experiences with them is a very, very special experience. Our students live on campus. And so it's a community. It's not just students. In other words, it's a community of chesed between one another. It's a community of like-minded individuals. And the questions that they ask are not only on the text, which is in front of us, but questions that are very real in terms of life experience, in terms of where they're heading, and in terms of their own dreams. And they're able to talk out their dreams, and many of them, Baruch Hashem, are, if not all, most of them, if not all of them, are able really to live their dreams after they spend their time in Eretz Yisrael in the Kollel.